This is ZeroGuardian back for another episode of ZeroGuardian playing his Steam library. Today I'm going to be playing Kinetic Void, which is a space simulator game. Sorry, I realized the music was overpowering me. I apologize about that. Alright, we'll see how that works. Okay, so today I'm going to be playing Kinetic Void, which is a space simulator type game. It's got some interesting mechanics about it. Based on a lot of the stuff I've read, it's a game that doesn't appear to be completely finished yet. There's a lot of things that the developers originally said they were going to put in, but never got put in, so I apologize if the game feels a little rough. I do know that this game has a decent tutorial for certain portions of it, but other portions of the game lack a tutorial pretty heavily. So there might be a little bit of me kind of learning some things as I go here, which, I mean, is normal because, again, this is the first time I'm playing this game. I've only fired it up to make sure that everything's working and to just briefly look over the interfaces, so I'm somewhat familiar with those jumping in, so that I can explain everything to you as I go through. I may also have to change, this game doesn't really have a good layout for everything on the screen, and because of that, my webcam feed will often interfere with you being able to see. So I'm probably going to disable it for portions of the video in order to allow you to, be able to see what's going on screen, and so I can explain everything that's going on. I have been kind of looking forward to playing this game, though, because one of the coolest mechanics that the game has is the ability to essentially craft your own ship just from scratch. Like, they have a bunch of modules in-game, you just toss them together however you want, so your ship can look whatever way you want it to. You can, I mean, it's essentially got almost a 3D modeling program, like, built into the game, which I think is kind of cool. I'm going to try to not spend too much time on that because I know that that could be rather involved, it should give you an idea of what to expect jumping into the game. As always, I'm going to be doing these videos every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Fridays at 2 p.m. Central, and feel free to join us on the forums.spacepotatoes.com, and we will we do Friday night game nights. Tonight we're going to be playing Killing Floor. Feel free to join the forums, join us for some Killing Floor tonight. We're going to be having a lot of good good time, a lot of fun with that. We'll probably be running a server that supports more than 6 players, so you won't be able to level up your character, but you'll be able to jump in, have fun, shoot the shit with us, and all that stuff. So feel free to join in. We're definitely a good group of people to have a lot of fun with. So jumping in, just as always, I want to go over the options menu really quick. So you've got a variety of options here. First, you have your game options, which allow you to disable and or reset the tutorials. You have your display options, which seem to be fairly robust. Like, there's a lot of effects that are available in this game. As far as like texture quality and post-processing, anti-aliasing, they've got a lot of lens effect quality and so forth. So, definitely go through, take a look at this stuff. I am playing the game in 2560 by 1440. I've got a fairly robust system, so, take that into account. I'm pretty much maxing this out, and so whatever you see on my screen may not be what you're able to do on yours. I have heard that there are some people with mid-range systems that seem to have a lot of problems with this game. I don't know if that's graphics memory or something on those lines, unfortunately, because I don't have a system like that. I haven't really been able to test it. So that's just something to keep in mind. So make sure when you first start up, you probably going to need to play around with the effects a little bit in order to get it stable on your system. You do have sound effect or sound controls. One thing I pointed out last video, Torchlight doesn't have the ability to adjust its music, its sound effects, the voiceovers, all that stuff separately, whereas this one does. It's nice to see that change here, so it's good to see a game that allows you to alter like the music volume, sound effects, and so forth separately, which is something I always enjoy. As far as controls go, this game is fairly robust in its controls. It's something you're probably going to want to look through. I'm not going to bore you with it here, but just know that it is here. You can go through and change it up. One thing that is my understanding, now I could be mistaken on this, there might be a better guide out there or something, but it doesn't seem like this game has proper support for joystick layout. So, if you're hoping for a space sim that's got joystick layouts, this probably isn't the game for you. This game really, again, where it really shines is its shipbuilding capabilities. The game itself, I think that there's going to be some... there might be a lot of rough edges in the gameplay itself, but the ship creator is really cool, and the fact that this game goes through and essentially you can randomly generate a new galaxy anytime you play is actually pretty cool. I think there's a lot of really neat things that this game does. Really quickly, I'm going to switch off my webcam because the next sections of this that I'm going to want to go over, the webcam is going to get in the way. But when we get back in and actually start playing the game with the ship that we have, I'll re-enable the webcam so that we have that available. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and create a new galaxy. So you can see here with the new galaxy creation, you can tell it how many star systems you want. You can go all the way up to 30. You can decide how many AI factions are in the game. It goes up to 12. I'm not going to go too crazy with this because I'm not likely going to be able to really mess around a whole lot with this. So I'm going to drop it down to like maybe 10. Yeah, we'll do 10 systems and 3 factions, just to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to be doing career mode, whereas you also have the option for creative mode, which allows you to, really just kind of build, ships that you want, save the ship designs, and stuff like that. And then, of course, play around with it a little bit. I don't want to jump into that because I want to, really focus more on the gameplay, but also show you what capabilities there are with the shipbuilding process as well. So I'm not going to do a random set of parts because I want to make sure that I have a ship that's ready to go. Again, I haven't really played around a whole lot with this stuff. Again, I just fired it up, make sure that UI works, and I understood how to get around the system. So I'm just going to choose, I've previously started with the Striker. I want to see what the freighter looks like, so I'm going to start there. And we're going to go ahead and click Start. Oh, right, got to put in a galaxy name. We'll just do, yeah, we'll just keep it simple, Zero's Galaxy. Ooh, yeah. This is Zero's Galaxy. It's mine. It's all mine. Y'all can't have it. So it goes through and procedurally generates the galaxy with the beginning of each new game. And ooh, man, that's... Yeah, they got a pretty robust shipbuilding. So this is the shipbuilding section here. So this is my ship. When you're in this, you're able to go through and build ships with new modules and components that you've collected while you're playing. And go through and change out the layout of the ships. Change like your hard points, like what weapons you have. Go through and add modules and change a bunch of different settings. So this starting out in the UI here, there's a lot of stuff to cover. I'm just going to go over it as briefly as I can. I don't want to bore everybody with this because I know that this is something that the game actually does a decent job of kind of walking you through what each of the different UI elements are, but just give you some additional thoughts and information so that you have an opportunity to kind of see what you can do. So at the top left, you've got your ship name. You then have the ability to save the ship, load another ship if you were in creative mode. Now, I'm not in creative mode, so I can't do that. You have the ability to share a ship design on Steam Workshop, which I think is really cool. The next one shows the class your ship is in. Now, this is determined automatically based on how large the ship is, how many modules it has, the kind of layout and all that stuff. So this is not something that you really have direct control, other than the fact that, you would have to add a bunch of modules to the ship and it would upgrade in class as you built it out. Because you could actually just take a ship, just start adding additional stuff to it and make the ship different, and it'll suddenly be upgraded from like a fighter class to a freighter or a whatever the various other different I know there's like a cruiser and a carrier and stuff like that. So those are things that you'll be able to do as you progress through the game. In the top center here, you have the menu, just the menu itself. You have basic information. This is just information on the game, latest fixes, stuff like that. You have your weapon manager, so you can go through and change out the weapons on your system, how they're working, whether they're a defensive weapon or an offensive weapon, set up weapon groups, so forth. You also have the map up here, which allows you to go through and see the map that was randomly generated for this particular galaxy that I created for my system. So you can see here, we're here in the Ethipso system, and there's several other systems around here, and it looks like there's 4 stations in between our excuse me, 4 stations, that's what these are here, in the system that I'm in. I apologize, I'm losing my train of thought there. Okay, so another thing you could do while in the map, you can right click on a galaxy and you can see individual information here. So you can see some asteroid fields. There is mining in the game, so you can go through and mine to gather materials, stuff like that. Obviously there's 4 stations in this solar system. You can go to those various stations and access like missions, or you could dock at a station in order to work on building your ship or something along those lines. So there's a lot of stuff there. Again, I don't want to bore you with everything, but just keep in mind this is the galaxy map, and you're able to go through and pull up the information for different systems and so on. So next you have your store. This is where you're able to buy modules based off of the credits that you have. Now, the different stations, my understanding is they do have different modules, so you'll be able to look through those and see what you want to buy and purchase here. You can see how many credits you have up here in the top. So I do have, I could go through and purchase several of these if I wanted to, but I don't really see the point in doing that currently. Alright, so if you were docking at a station after you've been in combat and you needed to repair, you would repair with this menu. You're able to repair just specific subsystems, or you can repair everything, all the damage that's been done to your ship. Finally, you have your inventory. This is any cargo that you've picked up while you've been out flying around the galaxy. You can pick up, like I said, you can do mining, so you could get cargo from those. You could get cargo from salvaging ships, but you do have to have a salvage module and or a mining module to do those. You could go and do trades. So you could go to another space station, buy some stuff, come to another station and sell it off, try to make a profit. And various other things. So that's what the inventory window's for. Obviously, like I said, your credits are then displayed. Now over here you have, in the top right, you have a variety of information about your ship. So the very first thing is just general ship info. It tells you how heavy, how much mass your ship has, the durability, so in other words, your hull strength, the total power from the power generator in there, how much power it actually needs. So that means that you do have, an energy pool of additional information, how quickly your energy recharges, and then you have your hull resistances. So like if you had a hull that had, kinetic resistance or thermal resistance or something along those lines, then it would have, some resistance statistics here. Next, you have your thrust information. This shows how powerful your thrusters are. Now, obviously, you know, the amount of thrust is still going to, the amount of speed you get in your ship is going to amount on your how much thrust you have versus how much mass you have. So, you know, these aren't specifically telling you like a speed that it's going. It's just telling you how many newtons essentially of thrust are, you know, your thrusters provide. Then you have your sensor information, so your sensor range, how far away you can lock onto things and scan things, the speed of your sensor, and then the max number of targets that your sensor can pick up at a time. Then you have your kinetic field. Now, the kinetic field is essentially like your, it's kind of like your force field / warp drive type thing. It's a little strange the way it works in the game, because when your kinetic field is on, your ship is, well, I guess it's your force field essentially, and then but when your kinetic force field is on, you you're restricted to a certain type of flying, which the kinetic field prevents you from being able to do like sharp turns and stuff like that. And I'll show you what I mean by that here, you know, a little later when we get into actually flying the ship around. But these are the statistics for your force field, so how much power it takes when it's active, when it's deactive, how much resistance it gives you, and then the overall strength of the field itself. So this is how much damage the field would have to take before your hull would start having to take damage. And then finally you have your cargo information. This just tells you how much cargo space you have. So in this case, I don't actually have any cargo space, but I do have drones that can fly out and, you know, defend my ship while I'm flying around. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is, as I was explaining earlier, is the ship build. This is essentially the hangar that you can build your ship in, and you can essentially make the ship as big as you want in here. Like, I've heard of some ships that are just absolutely massive in this game, so, you know, don't feel like you're restricted to some amount of space. Like the scale, like the background really, in my opinion, just appears to be static, so it doesn't really tell you like how big this hangar is. But zooming out, you can kind of get an idea of, you know, how much space you actually have to work with. So this is our ship. You can see, I can go through and highlight the different modules that we have installed on the ship right now. You can go through and so we could actually go through and start like adding modules if we had to, or we could go through and rotate or select modules to change up their the way they're set up or configured. So for instance, over here you've got your controls for manipulating the camera and manipulating modules on your ship. So you have a number of different features here. If you've ever used a 3D editing program like Maya or 3D Studio or Blender or something along those lines, you're going to be pretty familiar with a lot of the controls here because it works essentially the same way. So you import a module into the area that you're working in, and then you use the various tools like a translate tool, rotate tool, in order to put the piece into the position that you want, and then you'll attach it to the ship. And then it's static. It's there. It's part of the ship now. And so that allows you to go through and change up the way it works. So you can see here, there's a lot of different options. Like I can go through and click this. I could click modify, and now I'd actually be able to, you know, move or change this. I don't want to do. I don't want to change it at all. I want to leave it where it is, but you know, you can kind of see, you know, what I was talking about there. So you can modify it, change it, so you'll drag on these axes in order to move the piece around into different positions. I could go through and rotate it if I wanted to in order to get just the right angle that I was after, and then it even has the ability to go through and do a where you can set up like a mirror that would allow you to basically build half the ship, and then everything else is automatically mirrored over, so it builds the full ship out for you if you wanted to. And you can go through and do a mirror on both the X and or Y axes in order to do that. So that's kind of the how you move, the components around. In order to select one, you highlight it by just hovering your mouse over it, and then right-click, and then that allows you to modify. You can remove. You can also, as long as the part that you're selecting is part of the ship, you can go to subsystems, and you can actually look at the various different systems that are in the ship, change those. Change those out, and various other things. If you wanted to add a new module, then you'd want to come over here to the construction section. So you click this little icon in the bottom right of the screen, it pulls out this display here, and this would show all the components that you purchase and are stored at the station. And so then you could go through and add additional modules. You can add your weapon systems, hangar systems for drones. You can also customize the paint scheme of your ship. So you can see here there's the default paint scheme has kind of red and like purples and so forth, and then you also have, you can change you can see there the cockpit is like glowing blue. You could change that with this center color here. So there's a lot of customizations there's a lot of customization capability built into this game. I mean, like, you can literally build the ship however you want, make it look however you want, and really just kind of go all out with it. And so that gives you, a lot of, personalization in this game. And then, like I said, if you come up with this really cool ship design, you can go through, you can save it so that you can use it in another, galaxy that you create, or you could even send it to the Steam Workshop, and your friends or, other people out there could look at those designs and go, oh, wow, that's a really cool design, download it, and then they can use it. And so there's a lot of really cool stuff that I think that the ship builder really kind of brings out in this game. I think it's a really cool aspect. It's just a shame, and you're going to see this shortly, it's just a shame that the actual gameplay itself really seems to be lacking. I mean, this is such a cool feature. It's just a shame that there's not a really, really good game behind this. And I know, some of y'all are probably thinking, well, but you've never played the game and so forth. Well, I read quite a bit of reviews, trying to make sure that I understood the game beforehand, and I understand some of the complaints, and then in my little, play session, it's obvious that there's some things that this game doesn't do very well. But I'm a huge space sim fan. Don't think that this is just me saying, oh, this game is I love space sims. I've played most of the X series of games, like X2 The Threat, X3 Reunion, Albion Prelude. I need to play Rebirth. That's one of the games I'll be playing at some point this year. I'm also a huge fan of Elite Dangerous. I've been playing that for quite some time now. I got in on the beta and have been playing it since then. It's a lot of fun. It's something that I may even do like a bonus video on, since it's a game that I've technically already played. It's not really part of my Steam library, so it's not really part of this series, but I may go through and do some bonus videos of games that, I enjoy, that I'm playing, and, maybe we can, look at doing something on those lines. So I think y'all would enjoy that. But at this point, so, once you've finished your ship, you can go through and you would click launch. So launch allows us to exit the space station and then actually be in the galaxy and actually be able to start doing some stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and click launch and then kind of walk you through the various elements of the UI when you're flying around in the ship. Before I do that, I did want to state the game actually does have a very in-depth tutorial system. Now it's all essentially just messages that pop up, and you kind of go through them, and it kind of highlights the different elements and gives you a brief explanation of what they are. But I just wanted to really quickly kind of show you what that looks like. So normally when you're just starting a brand new game, it'll just pop up automatically, so it's not going to be difficult. You'll automatically see it. You'll see the information as it comes up, so that you can go through and see it. But if you're maybe for whatever reason the tutorial's not coming up, or you wanted to watch the tutorial again, you can hit the F1 key at any time while you're in one of these, looking at various different things. Like I can come over here and hit F1 while, well, it doesn't seem to be. Just a second. I wonder if it's because I have the tutorials disabled. Yeah, so that was why. So because I had the tutorials disabled, it wasn't coming up. But so keep that in mind. If the tutorial's not coming up for you, you need to go into the menu and re-enable them. But you can press F1 at any time, and this will bring up this tutorial window here that shows you, all kinds of information. So here, it's going over the tutorial for the shipyard tools, and you can see it's actually like highlighting the different sections and providing you with a detail of what those will do. And so, like, if I wanted to like come up here, and now the tutorials will pop up, and you can kind of see, exactly what it covers and all that stuff that it does. I'm going to go ahead and disable those again, so that there's no confusion there. All right, so I'm going to click launch so you can kind of see what the game itself looks like, and I'll fly around and kind of show you, what you can do, and then I'm going to try to dive in and see if I can, come up with some cool designs, or not cool designs, but come up with some cool gameplay. Again, my understanding is this is very rough, so maybe we'll get some good information. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But here we are. So we're in the solar system. So that was the station that I was just in previously. Anytime you undock from the station, you'll be placed out in this little docking lane here that away from the space station, so you can kind of fly out wherever you want to. So really quickly, go over the UI here. So you have essentially a lot of the same information down here in the bottom left that you had in the top center in the build area. So you have the menu, you have some general information, you have the galaxy map, which you can pull up. You have the... now this is something that wasn't included previously. So this is the factions. So these are the factions that are in the game. You can see here that they... excuse me, I apologize. You can see here, listed over here on the side. So there's the Integrated Galactic Technologies, Farside Pirate Cartel, and the Federated Galactic Union. And so those are the three different factions, and you can kind of see here, like, my relation with some of these, like, you can see how, you can see their relations with each other. So, like, here you can see the Integrated Galactic Technologies is not very friendly with the pirates. They're kind of neutral to me, and they're decently friendly with the Federated Galactic Union, whereas the pirates is an enemy with anybody, so especially me, apparently. Pirates hate me for whatever reason. I don't know what I did to them, but apparently they don't like me. And then you have the Federated Galactic Union, which is, partially friends with the... the Federated Galactic Union, which is partly friends with the Integrated Galactic Technologies and the enemy of the Farside Pirates. So you can kind of see that information there. You can also see information about the unions here in the galaxy map, so you see them listed here along with colors. So you can see the Pirate Cartel owns a couple of systems, there's a couple of neutral ones, the Integrated Galactic Technologies have a few systems, and then so do the Federated Galactic Union. And it looks like currently we're in the Integrated Galactic Technologies system, or one of their systems, so that's where you can see that's where I'm located at. So on the HUD here, you're going to see a lot of blue icons. So there are various things that are in this system. So you've got, you can sit here and click on them. And so this is a battle cruiser out somewhere. You've also got a cruiser. There's, just a basic freighter. So all these little triangle icons, those are all going to be ships of some sort. There's a corvette, there's a frigate. Frigates are going to be for, trade and stuff like that. So there's like another frigate out here. You can see here there's a space station over there. So you can click on that, and that's a mining station, actually. So you can go over there and do some stuff. Now, all these little icons like this are just asteroids. Little tiny blue kind of dots, basically. Those are asteroids in the game. You can fly up to those, you can mine them, gain a bunch of information there. And then you have a warp gate in order to jump between the different systems. So you have to go to the warp gate and go through it in order to get from one system to another. You can kind of tell by bringing up the map, you know, kind of where those are located at. Oops, excuse me. Sorry, the controls on here a little. So you can see there's one warp gate over here next to this planet, which I'm at, and that's what this little triangle, cylindrical triangle is. And then there's another warp gate over here at this station to get to that system over there, and of course this one will take you over to that system. And so, you know, some systems will have you know, some systems only have one gate off of them, others have two. There might be some instances where one has three. It doesn't look like there's any examples of that here in this map, but so just keep that in mind. Oh, you're going through and looking at this stuff. So next you have your cargo, your inventory. Again, you know, just allows you to see, you know, what all you have in your ship. You then have your drones. So how many drones I have? So I have one drone bay, none deployed, and I have looks like one drone mine. And I can tell that to deploy or recall, or I could recall all drones. And then finally there is the weapon manager, again, for going through and changing the weapon groups and whether they're offensive or defensive. Alright, so in the center here you have a number of different things. So this little bar here are the abilities that your ship has. So in this case I have a propulsion overload, which allows me to you know, get a speed boost. I can do that by pressing the 1 key because it's 1 through 10. I'm assuming 10 is 0 since it's not 0 through 9. That's kind of interesting. And then on the in the center here you have these 3 bars here. So the yellow is your power. That's how much power your ship is using currently. You can see I'm actually draining power right now. I'm not really sure why, but I have a huge bank of power, so I'm not too concerned about that right now. The green is your hull strength, and then the purple is your kinetic field. And so the kinetic field, again, is like your force field and so forth. You then have this little bar here, which is your speed, and I'll go over the kind of the basic controls here in a second, but just know that that's the speed. Currently I'm not going anywhere, so it's at speed 0. You then have these 3 icons above it. So the left one allows you to enable or disable your, I believe your kinetic field. I know that this is the this is like your warp drive or micro warp drive, I think is what it's called. This allows you to travel quickly within a system. I'm going to show you what that's like here in a little bit. It's a little difficult to use, so just keep that in mind. And then finally you can change your weapons. I think that's... I'm not sure if I can... Let me I want to make sure I'm explaining these correctly. Okay, so yeah, so this is your kinetic field generator. You can also turn it on or off by pressing T or just clicking on it. When you turn when you turn that off, it obviously your force field is off, so it's not protecting you anymore. And then the next one, like I said, is a micro warp drive. So and that allows you to, like it's kind of a quick travel within a system, and I'll show you how that works. And then the last one is your weapon systems. So if it's green, they're in defensive mode. If it's red, they're in offensive mode. So I just wanted to make sure I was explaining those correctly to you. I didn't want to, provide you with the wrong information as we're going through here. So when you're looking around here, you can right-click anywhere. Okay, so there's 2 flight modes. I'm going to go over the first one, which is the default. That's what this is right now. So with this, you can right-click and drag to look around. You can then press W and S to pitch up and down. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. I think I targeted them or something. Oh. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know why that's doing that. Anyways, so like I was saying, you can do W and S to pitch up and down. You can then do A and D to turn left and right, and then if you wanted to roll, you could do Q and E. All right. You then and pay attention to the throttle down here. So you press R to increase your throttle, and then press F to decrease it, and holding F will also allow you to go in reverse. You can then also hit Shift R to immediately go to 100%, and then Shift F to immediately go to 0. And then the second type of flight mode is if you press V, you're going to go into what's essentially mouse mode, which is you kind of turn with your mouse. So your pitch and yaw are controlled by your mouse, and so it kind of goes wherever your mouse is on screen. Now you can see here I'm in kind of a first-person perspective, but I can hold Shift and back up, and that'll get me more of a view outside my ship. And then if I press V again, I'm back in that other mode. I will say one of the advantages to flying in this mode, even though it's a little more difficult to control, is you can go through and click on the various aspects in the UI here, because there's a lot of things that you're going to want to be able to do, like for instance, like disabling and enabling your micro warp drive and stuff like that. Now there are key combinations for all of these, but the keys are all over the keyboard, and so you know, being able to really use this effectively could be a little bit of a challenge. And so that's, you know, just something to keep in mind. I'm probably going to fly mostly with the keyboard controls, because I think that that's going to give me a little more capability. The last thing I wanted to go over is you can also disable your... you can essentially enable Newtonian flight mode. Now, Newtonian flight mode, and I want to make sure I'm getting the key correctly, is... what is that? Maybe when you disable the kinetic, I'm going to have to enable the thing again. Yeah, okay. So yes, when your kinetic field is disabled, you're in Newtonian flight mode. So what that means is, for instance, if I increase my speed here, and hopefully it's not too difficult, I may turn so that you can kind of see the ship in the background, so you can kind of, or the station in the background, so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about here. So right now, you notice that, you know, as I turn, my thrust kind of changes along with my ship. However, if I press the T key to disable the kinetic drive and then pitch up, you're going to see that I'm still flying kind of sideways until my thrust eventually fixes it, and now I'm going in this direction rather than the other. And so what the Newtonian flight does is it essentially makes it to where your ship continues going in whatever direction it is, and until your thrust fixes that. So like if I, for instance, I'm flying this direction and then hit Shift F, I'm still flying in that direction because my thrust is still shooting me that direction, but now, even though I'm turned the opposite direction, I'm still flying that way. And so that's what Newtonian flight is. Like, it keeps your momentum until your thrust changes that momentum. And so now, like, I push my thrust up, and you notice I kind of do this kind of maneuver where I kind of curve and then start heading in this direction. And so you're kind of compensating for your existing momentum in order to do that. So If you have a basic understanding of physics, it should make sense to you. I can certainly understand that could be confusing to a lot of players. So just something to keep in mind. Okay. All right, so I'm going to turn my kinetic field back on, and so now again, when I pitch up and pitch down, the kinetic field automatically forces all of my momentum to follow along with it, and so it's no longer Newtonian flight. It just goes wherever your thrusters tell it to. Okay, so I don't know if y'all had noticed earlier, but there were a couple of missions that popped up over here in the bottom right as I was kind of going over that. So you can see here, like, there's an economy mission, the ZeroGuardian system within the territories of integrated galactic technology suffered industrial accident, production of... Oh, okay. Well, that was just economy information. But there's a mission here. So integrated galactic technologies, please help us. We can't get away from Farside pirate cartel ships that are after us. And I don't know... doesn't say. Interesting. I find it interesting that it's not allowing me to. So it's a mission, but how do I know? Okay, well, here's the pirate frigate, so I'm going to head towards the pirate frigate because that's an enemy, and I want to be able to take it out, so I'm going to head this way. Now, here's the thing. So this ship is that many, I think it's kilometers. Oh, he jumped away from me. Never mind, I can't get to him now. Okay, that must be the warp gate. No, it's a frigate. Oh, he may have been destroyed. That may be what it is. Oh, mission waypoint. Ah, okay. So let me head there. Okay, so that's what I want to do. Okay, so I want to show you the micro warp drive. So I probably am going to fly right by this. I'm just going to let you know because this micro warp drive is terrible in the way it works. But I'm going to click this right here, and you're going to see I'm going to start going extremely fast, and then I have to click it and turn it off and hope that I'm in the right location. And yeah, so I didn't fly right past it necessarily, but I'm not honestly all that much closer, so I'm gonna have to do it again and hope that I turn it off in time. Oh, there's a cooldown on the micro warp drive, so you see there it was red, so now it's green again, so I can click it now. So I'm gonna click it, and then probably immediately click it again. So there's kind of a lot of guessing going on with this. Alright, so now I'm relatively close to it. So you can see that the flight in this game it's a little complicated, it's kind of hard to do. It's kind of unfortunate that it's such difficult to fly in this game. I mean, the mouse mode, does make it a little easier to kind of do some basic maneuvers, but as far as like being able to like interact with things in the screen, it's impossible. So like, because like you want to be able to click on things as you're flying around, and I don't know about you, but the ability to look around is also really important to me because with the mouse mode, I don't have that feature. I don't have that capability. Whereas normally in a space sim, I'd be able to fly the ship and then use head look to look other locations in order to see where things are and stuff like that. And in this game, there's not that functionality, so it's kind of unfortunate that the game has this really cool shipbuilding mechanic, but the actual gameplay is really pretty boring. And I'm gonna try to make this as interesting as possible. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm gonna have to click it like immediately. Yep. See, there I go, way past it. Oh, but I am closer, so that should help. looks like there's another enemy over there. Oh, he's getting awfully close to me. That is a frigate, actually. I'm gonna go over there. Maybe we can see some combat. Oh! Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so if you right-click on a target, you can tell it to warp to or align to. Ah, okay, that makes it a little easier. Okay, now that makes a little more sense. But again, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was in mouse version. Whoa! Is he shooting at me or am I shooting at him? No, I'm shooting at him. Okay, cool. I'm gonna slow down. Oop. So you can see my kinetic field is taking a little bit of damage because he's firing back at me. Speed up just a little bit. And my shields are going down way quicker than his are. And he's got a hell of a lot more hull. I may have to get out of this. This isn't going well for me. Alright, I'm turning away. Alright, so I'm gonna find one of the stations around here. And I'm gonna align to it. What does that mean? Yeah, there we go. That's much better. Okay. Alright, and then if I fly into the docking lane, it should automatically give me a the option to dock with it. I'm curious why my energy is just decreasing and not increasing. I mean, it seemed like my ship had plenty of power. Oh gosh, he's coming back. He's following me. Hopefully I can dock before it gets into range. Would I like to dock with this station? Make it so. Yeah, Jean Lucard's better at that than I am. Oh, that's Troy pop back up. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can't figure out why. Okay, I don't. Okay, I want. That's cockpit. I don't know how I get more. Hull. Okay, so looks like W's are hard points, H is hull, and then C is cockpit, and E is engine. So what? Subsystems. Here we go. So I get a cargo bay, a thermal kinetic field generator, and a large thermal kinetic field generator, sensors, reactor. There we go. Okay. So I need to look at. What is this? Yes. So I have 45 power. Interesting. So I must have a tier 2 reactor, but I don't see one listed here, so I'm not really sure. Grappler. What the hell does that do? It's interesting. Shield drain. Hostile ability, defense. About weapons, what do I got there? Actually, what I guess I should look at. No, not that. Where are weapons? Disable those. Second. Okay, so I've got AMS system. Let's see here. Thermal. What the heck does that do? Oh, okay, so that must be a beam weapon, beam array, and then a mining array. Oh, I can do mining. Oh. Let me go do some mining, see how that goes. Okay, yeah. Well, let's go see if we can do some mining. See what we can do there. Okay. I'm obviously... I think I may have assumed I should be able to do combat with this ship, and I may not be equipped for that. Or at least not against a freighter. So, let's go ahead and launch. And overwrite ship. Okay. Is it the same ship I came in with? That seems a little odd. Let's make sure there's no enemies nearby. Cruiser. I want a cruiser. So I'll have to admit, I mean, like, so let me try to get close to this ship so you can see, because, I mean, they got some really cool designs in this game. Get up close to him. Ah, that's what was draining my energy. I had this on. Okay. Now that makes a little more sense, and that also explains why I'm going faster now than I was before. Okay. Anyway, so now I'm catching up to this. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Okay, so if it's got the little square around the icon down here, that means it's on. And that's what's draining your energy. But yeah, I mean, so I think they got some really cool designs for ships in this game. I mean, this is, you know, that's a cruiser there. Should have some decent weapons and so forth. I think that's, you know, the game's got some really cool elements in it. It's just, it's a disappointment that, you know, it's laden with so many other kind of, you know, because, like, I have to admit, I mean, you know, sitting here for, you know, I've been here for an hour now, most of what telling y'all how to, you know, play the game, how the UI works, and doing a little bit of playing here and there, and I gotta admit, I'm finding this to be a little on the boring side. And I usually love space games. I will say, one thing that's bugging me about this game is I hate it when games put in these false backgrounds to make it look more pretty and so forth. I gotta be honest, I'd much rather see a realistic background with stars and maybe, you know, smudges of galaxies back off in the distance, and, you know, maybe a, you know, a little mini galaxy cluster, you know, star cluster, you know, orbiting the galaxy or something. I'd much rather see that, and then little nebulas, you know, off in the distance and so forth. And maybe you could have a system or two that's actually in a nebula where you could have stuff like this. But it just seems like a cheat to me to automatically add in this, you know, kind of extra, you know, detail. It's unneeded. It's unnecessary. So there's a mission to take out this guy, but again, that's a frigate, and he's got better shields than I do. I'm not even going to remotely touch that. So we're going to come over here. Let's see, what's the closest asteroid? Yeah, it looks like this one might be the closest. So I'm going to align to that, and then warp to it. I'm not sure what the different warps, I'm assuming it might be speed, like how quickly you're going to get through there. Oh wow, check this out, that's really cool. Seeing I'm already mining. Dang, that mine's from a far away distance. That's pretty cool. Wish Elite Dangerous mining work that far away. Oh, it's terrible. Let me, I'm gonna go ahead and disable that so I get my energy back, and then I want to be able to monitor my cargo. Because supposedly, my understanding is as you're mining, it auto puts the stuff into your inventory, but I could be mistaken on that. Get a little closer and see what happens. Oh, wait a second. Ah! Okay, stop. That's right. I don't have a cargo hold on this ship. I need to... Okay, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to the station. I'm gonna buy a cargo hold, and then we're gonna come back and mine. Oh, damn. Oh, no, okay, so you warp to... Okay, so I guess that's the distance that you are from it, okay. And I guess they allow that for the different size ships, maybe? I don't know. Target something. Lock target C. Okay. So if I do that and then C. Okay. Oh, not V. C. There we go. I don't want it to be an enemy target. I want it to be a friendly target. How do I do that? If I can warp to within 10. Yeah, it looks like I can. Okay, cool. That'll make this a little easier. Alright, there we go. Yeah, see, there's interesting things about this game, and then other parts of it are just like, why did they do that? I thought there was a way for, like... And yes, that does answer my question. 10 is the button 0. So, closest enemy, closest object, Z. Was there a cruiser over there? There is a cruiser over there. Interesting. Okay. Cool if there was a way to... I don't know if there's to be a way to like trade or something without docking. I don't think there is. I'm not seeing any way to do that anyways. How'd I gain money? Okay, now I'm confused. See what it says up here. Yeah, I doubled my money. It must have turned the mining into credits automatically because the cargo hold didn't have enough. Well, that's kind of nice. I mean, not very realistic, but it's not bad. I mean, that's kind of interesting. Maybe they say it as you mine it, and then the stations have drones that go and collect it and pay you for the mining. I don't know. That's interesting. Okay, so store, and I want a cargo hold. So, let's see here, subsystems. Okay, so I got 4 cubic meters, 5 cubic meters. Okay, so it looks like it shows it in the top right. That's good to know. We've got tier 2. There's a 9 cubic meter. And then, oh wow, 3 goes way up. I don't know if I can equip one of those or not. Yeah, we'll try buying one, see what I can do with it. Okay, so I can't equip that. Okay, cool. Alright, so now I've got 27 cubic meters of cargo space. Alright, I can handle that. Yes, overwrite ship. Okay. Alright. I think I'm finally starting to get a grasp of some of the concepts of this game. Whoa, check out that ship. See if we can get a closer look. I'm curious what it looks like. Wow, look at all those engines. See, they got some really cool ship designs in this game. I love that. That, you know, and it looks fairly unique too. I mean, it's not like anything you've seen in most other games. That's kind of interesting. I like the X kind of color pattern there. It's kind of interesting. There's another interesting one down there. Okay, so let's see. Closest target. Let's see if there's a asteroid nearby. Mining station. Oh, I don't think it'll do asteroids. Okay. Oh, that asteroid's not too far away. Let's just do that. Warp to 10. Alright, so now I should be able to look at my cargo, and it should automatically put whatever I mine over here. See how it goes. Okay, so I've got some catalysts, whatever that means. Base materials. Okay, my money doesn't appear to be changing. Silicates. Woohoo, sand! Woo! Looks like each of these is taking up 0.1 cubic meters. Oh man. Wow. I wonder if there's faster mining systems. Alright, we'll get half a ton of cargo and then I'm gonna see what I can come up with. Okay, so we got some more catalysts. I don't know if the size of the asteroid would improve anything, or I wonder if I'd get different ones. We'll get another thing off this one, then we're gonna change targets and see what happens. thinking. Anything else? Oh, there we go. All right, we got some silicates. All right. Get some water from that one. Interesting. Yeah, so that's that was actually a good example of, you know, one difference where, you know, if you had your kinetic field off, there'd be a big difference. So like I just went to a stop or turned my thrusters off. Well, if I had didn't have my kinetic field on, I would actually keep flying and just crash right into that asteroid. So it's just something to keep in mind. Get one more. Get up to 1 ton, and then I'm going to head back and I want to see how much this stuff sells for. There we go. Alright, now, where is that station? Waypoint, there it is. Okay, so it's there. Okay. Oh wow, not that far away. Warp to 10. Yeah, I'll have to say, I'm glad that I'm finally figuring out how to do some of this stuff. It would have been nice if it went over that in the tutorials. It doesn't. So just while I'm waiting for my ship to get there, and I'll speed it up a little bit. I'm waiting for my ship to get within docking range, and hopefully I'm not going to crash into it. I think I'll be all right there. Okay, so just really quickly, some of the things that I've figured out as you're going through here. So you can click on any of the icons that you see on the screen, ships, waypoints. So waypoints would show up as this little icon there, and this one is that way. So this little icon here, that's a waypoint. So you can click on that, and then I could right-click now, and then I can tell it to warp, and then this tells how much distance I want to warp to away from it. So like, you might use 100 or 50 if you were, you know, warping into a ship and you wanted to be able to see the ship before you started firing on it. But like if you're docking, obviously you want to do 10 because you want to be close to the station, so it's easier to dock. And then you can also, you know, right-click on something and align to it in order to make sure that you're going the right direction. I am. Make sure, there we go. And then finally, so as y'all may have, you know, as y'all noticed earlier, you know, I was running into a problem where my energy was draining. Well, that was because one of my abilities on the hotbar down there was on. And so, you know, just make sure if your yellow bar is decreasing and not getting back up, make sure you don't have any of your abilities enabled. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my inventory here and go ship inventory and trade goods. And let's move all of that, or unload all. Whoa. Wait a second. Oh no, was I supposed to go? I think I goofed. I goofed. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Okay. Woo. Okay, let me come back over here. Okay, so that's actually stored there. So now, okay, yes. All right, good. All right. I thought somehow I had like just unloaded my stuff. It's like, oh, I don't need this stuff. Just throw it away. No, I don't need that. Okay, no. So here we go. So now I can Sell all this stuff. Man, this menu is terrible. You gotta go through and manually click on every single one of these. And it doesn't default to 1, it defaults to 0. Wow. Okay. And so I think I'm making, you know, not quite enough to pay for the cargo hold that I had, but granted, that was also only 1 ton of cargo. I'm gonna I'd like to see, actually I'm gonna look into that right now. So if I go to store and then modules, subsystems, and I want, maybe it's weapons. I want to see if the mining stuff is here. Cargo engines, sensor power. Okay, yeah, okay, so here they are. So they're under thermal, that's what they are. Okay, so if I go to weapons and I see, okay, low yield. Mining yield very high. Salvage beam, focus salvage beam. Very low yield mining array. I like how this is a very low yield, and yet the mining yield is high, and then I go here and it's low, and then it's very high. What the hell does that mean? Oh, high yield mining array. Ooh, that's expensive. Because I think right now what I have is, on here, I have a medium yield. Okay, so that's very high. Interesting, okay. Okay, yeah, this game is definitely interesting, and it gives you a ton of capabilities for customizing your ship, but then doesn't really tell you what those changes do, which means there'd be a lot of trial and error. And then you jump into the world, and there's just, I mean, there's obviously a lot of things to do, but those things are very repetitive and not very well structured. Yeah, it's interesting, because, like, part of me is like, well, Elite Dangerous is the same way, but Elite Dangerous also looks a lot better, and you know, you've got to manually dock, and you know, there's the flight aspects of it, which I love. Oh my gosh, Elite Dangerous! I'm sorry, I'm gonna geek out on Elite Dangerous for a second here, but Elite Dangerous is it's so much fun because the flight mechanics in the game are just perfect. With the joystick setup, that game is amazing, and you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna go out and say it right now. I'm gonna give y'all a bonus episode next Saturday. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. I'm gonna do a bonus episode. I'm gonna play some Elite Dangerous for a couple hours so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about, because that game is just amazing. There's so many things to do, so many things to see. It's just, I mean, compared to this game, it's the complete apples and oranges. I mean, Elite Dangerous is amazing gameplay-wise. Now, yes, there's only a small number of ships in the game. The starting out in Elite Dangerous is a pain. I know, because I'm in the middle of it right now. I had to restart with the recent launch last month. I haven't been able to play as much as I would have liked to, because first there's the holidays, and now I'm starting to play through my Steam library, so I haven't had as much spare time to play it as I would like to. So I'm kind of in the middle of starting all over again. I'll see if I can try to spend some time in it before next Saturday, but even still, even in the base ship of the game, there's so many things to do, so much to see. And the universe itself is so much more detailed. And I like the fact that in Elite Dangerous, like, you can literally just go and, okay, there's missions posted at this space station. It tells you exactly what you need to do, where to go, and now it doesn't tell you, like, all the things you need to know, because some of it you have to search for. Like, if you have to, kill a pirate or something for the mission, then you need to, go and locate them and stuff like that. But anyways, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Elite Dangerous, because that's not what we're playing right now. We're playing Kinetic Void. I gotta be honest, I think I'm going to go ahead and start closing up the video here. I think you've gotten a taste of what this game has in store. I can't say I highly recommend it, even for a hardcore space sim fan. Yes, the space spaceship building tool is amazing. I mean, the fact that you can go through and just add modules and build whatever you want, I think is just really cool, and it gives you a huge array of options for that and so forth. But to pair it with such a just abysmal quality of a game is just an insult to the build capabilities of this game. I love the shipbuilding capabilities, but they seriously need to rethink how to do the game, because the game, in my opinion, is very boring. Like, there's no like, even the combat earlier, there was no tactics to it. Like, I just fly close to it, guns, as long as guns are facing them, it fires, it hits. There's no there's no skill to any of it. Like, unlike, and again, I apologize for geeking out, but, Elite Dangerous, you have to have a skill with fighting. I mean, yes, there are weapons that, can auto-aim within a certain range and so forth, but you still have to get your ship into range. You got to compensate for speed and distance, and you got to account for, like, your enemies' abilities, because, like, even in a small ship you can take on much larger enemies in Elite Dangerous, as long as you keep your ship located behind their field of view so that they can't hit you as well with their weapons. There's also, like, EMPs or not EMPs, but chafe and various systems built into the game so that you can avoid certain types. So like their weapons can't auto lock on you, or their missiles can't detect you and hit you. And then just like in this game has somewhat in Elite Dangerous, there's also there's Newtonian flight physics that you can enable, and so it's they call it flight assist in Elite Dangerous. So you turn flight assist off and you're in Newtonian flight physics then, and so you can do some really cool maneuvers where you go through and you're flying like crazy towards them, aim slightly below them, turn off flight assist, spin around, and then you'll be flying behind them and immediately be able to fire your weapons at them and then boost, and suddenly you're behind them, and they're it's so much fun. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out about it all over again, because it's just an amazing game. It's incredible. And this game just isn't. The shipbuilding is, I will absolutely admit, the shipbuilding is fucking cool. I love the shipbuilding capabilities of this game. I mean, you can see it just with the various ships that they have in the game. They obviously have done a lot of really cool stuff with it, but why spend all that time to make essentially what is, a 3D editor? I mean, they've essentially made, except for the fact that you can't just make your own modules, they've essentially made a, like 3D Studio, like this mini version of 3D Studio in the game. And then the game itself is just bad. Like, the gameplay is boring, there's not enough stuff going on. yes, there are portions of the game that I think look very good. I think the hangar looks very good. It's all static, it's unchanging, it's the same from station to station, so, there's obviously no difference there. And compared to the ships, I even think that, the hangar is very boring. You would hope that they would have, more than this, and, what the hell is this thing here? I mean, is that just a giant force field? What is that? I don't, obviously, a lot of this is just there to be pretty, and, like, they have these cool light, effects, like, in the hangar and so forth. They have some cool light effects in the game, but then, they have those just boring backgrounds that aren't realistic at all. And I know this game doesn't necessarily have to be realistic, but if you're making a space game, at least make it feel like space. Where are the other stars? Where are the other galaxies? Where's, all this stuff? I mean, and then another big problem I have with this is, they go through and make it, they call it a galaxy, but then there's only like 7 or 8 systems that you can, or up to 30. Okay, let me be fair. It's up to 30. But then there's only 30 systems within the entire galaxy that you can visit. And that, to me, that bugs me. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, I'm playing Elite Dangerous, which has the Milky Way galaxy rendered in it with 400 billion star systems. So I am coming from a game that obviously was designed much differently from this, and obviously this is procedurally generated, whereas Elite Dangerous, the system itself is static in the sense of where the planets are. Now, they are procedurally generating all the systems as players explore new systems in the galaxy. As that occurs, then those systems are being procedurally generated. Otherwise, there'd be no way they could have made all those planets and everything. So, both games do have some procedural generation. But yeah, just from a pure, space sim, mining, trading, combat, from that perspective, I think this game it has failed. It really needs better capabilities, and it just doesn't have it, and it's a shame. So, anyways, so that's my thoughts on Kinetic Void. I'm not going to be playing this game anymore. I'm probably going to uninstall it as soon as I get off of this. So, I bought it, so you don't have to at this point. So, I'm sure there'll be a few games that I end up playing this year that are like that. But, if you are interested in playing with a really robust shipbuilder, then buy the game. Otherwise, just don't bother. It's not worth playing. I hate to do that to a game because I'm a huge fan of games. I love all types of games. I play space sims, RTS, FPS, everything. And you're going to see that as I go through my game list. And this game just, I've very rarely do I find myself at a point where I'm just like, don't play that game. But I'm at that point with this one. I don't like this at all. It's got some cool aspects to it, but it's failed as a game. It's more of a content creator than a game, in my opinion. And at that point, you can't advertise it as a game. So that's my two cents on this game. I hope you enjoyed it. Join us on the forums@spacepotatoes.com. And feel free to, like I said, we're going to be playing Killing Floor later tonight. I will be streaming that. So feel free if you can't join on the forums or don't have the game and you just want to check it out, feel free. It's not going to be done in any kind of review sense or anything. We're just going to be playing and shooting the shit and so forth. But feel free to join us. It'll be a lot of fun, and I will see you next week. So again, next week, Monday, Wednesday at 7 p.m. I haven't announced the games for next week yet because I'm using a random system to do the games, and I haven't chosen my games for next week yet. So, that's all on the forums. Join the forums. All the information will be there. And I will see y'all guys on Monday. Bye.